I mean,
See, everybody's getting to see this is not scripted.
no.
It's definitely not.
It never is. Hi, I'm George from Amateur Logic.
I'm Tommy from Amateur Logic.
And I'm Ray from Icom America.
And Santa Ray brought a nice sleigh full of toys with him this trip.
And you guys will help me load it back into the sleigh.
Most of it, yeah. Some of it.
Maybe
So,
a few
little-
bits or pieces
little
or
of
empty
it.
boxes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Tommy, there's 300 foot of rope behind you over there.
All right.
So, what did you bring?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. Some ham radio items, the 905, the CX10G, the 10 gig transverter, the antennas,
Yeah.
and an ID50,
Awesome.
as well as one of our marine radios, the IC-905 black box.
Cool. All right. So where do we want to start? It all starts at the antenna?
I would say so. A few people might argue that it starts with another item.
Yeah, the other end of the line.
Yeah, the microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're the closest, so let's start with those.
We've got the 2.4 gig AH24, the 5.6, the AH56, and the 10 gig collinear antenna.
And these are all similar?
Physically,
Yes.
they look exactly the same.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice little L bracket to mount on a. I still think we could get George a crash bar
Yeah.
on his truck and mount these things on.
Pretty nice. I was checking it out a little while ago. It weighs almost nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice little SMA connector on there. All your hardware comes nice and neatly packaged.
Yeah, clamps for a mast, so forth.
Yep.
And stainless
Cool.
steel.
You tell me it feels like it.
It does feel like it. Yeah.
You think
it
that will
looks
be a
like
meal approved, or will it blow his budget?
it. Emil, what do you think, man? we don't have any cost figures yet, but it is good stuff, and you'd only have to mount it once.
Again, nice little small compact collinear antenna for your 3 magic bands.
Yeah, nice design.
So we'll start with a 10 gig transverter. This, unlike the antennas, is not light. That's just the mounting bracket and the small cable.
Oh, wow. It's probably about 3 pounds. Now that's a serious bracket.
And just
Yeah.
about any type of hole pattern you'd want to try to mount it on. To give you an idea, that's the 10 gig transverter.
Wow. And that mounts on the tower or near the antenna?
Yes. As short of a run as you possibly can.
Yep.
So what you have going on here is you got the accessory port from the radio. That'll have all your power and everything. Your 10 gig antenna, your 2.4 out, your 2.4 in, and then your 10 megahertz reference to get it as stable as possible. So if you're not using the 10 gig, this is just a bypass, and your 2.4 gig antenna is going to be tied to it.
Okay.
So it uses a 2.4 gig from the 905 as the IF.
Oh.
And the nice thing about it is on the 2.4, when you look at using a transverter, a lot of the times your transverters for your 2.4 is 2 meters.
Yeah.
So how many meg wide is 2 meters? That's a Ham College question.
It would be, let's see, that's about
4 meg.
4. That's what I was going to say.
144 to 148.
Yep.
He's going to have to take the course again.
He was giving me this.
You just got the buzzer.
Yeah.
You got the buzzer.
So what this allows you to do on the 2.4, the 905 covers the entire 2.4 gig range, not just that 4 meg split.
Okay.
Or not split, but the 4 meg bandwidth. So.
Cool.
Wow.
And we have not seen that before, I don't think.
I haven't seen it. I saw the radio at one of the Hamfests, but I haven't seen this. Is this released? Everything's
Yes, sir. Everything's released and available at the dealers.
very nice. Pretty heavy. You felt of it?
Oh, wow.
Weren't
Yeah.
expecting that, were you?
No, I mean, I was expecting some weight to it, just not quite this much, but nice build quality.
So that's why you've got that substantial bracket to
Yeah.
hold it. So there you go, where it just drops down in, mounted up by on your mast, rotatable, as L if you want, vertical, horizontal.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause if
I
you're-
was just thinking it really doesn't matter which way this is turned. Probably like this is how you'd want to do it, though.
That would be the way I would mount it. That way the water stays away from it. But the reason I was talking about in any direction, you can mount it like this, and then your dish is right on the other side to keep it as short as possible.
Yeah.
So you put your dish on an as-L rotor.
Okay.
So moon bounce, 10 gig, put it with a 10 gig dish. You can tilt it any direction that you want. If you're up on a mountaintop, I've talked with Josh Nass about microwave POTA, microwave soda. Had one guy come from the UK that wanted to debate me on that topic. And I'm like, you know what? You're exactly right. The radio wasn't designed for you 10 gig aficionados. You guys have built it. You spent the time. You got the passion to do that. Sure enough, he was a retired RF engineer. That was his passion. This is designed for the everyday ham, the ones that are young enough and strong enough to go hike up on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
And he was really naysaying it until I go, what do you like doing? You like collecting grid squares. He agreed with me. I go, just think about a young ham that goes up on that mountaintop where you have 4 unique grid squares. And all he's got to do is walk 10, 15 meters in either direction and can have fun activating that all day long.
Yeah.
And then he started looking at me and go, he doesn't need to have all the real high gain equipment. He can use these collinear antennas because guys like you that are going to be down in the lower elevations are going to have the high gain antennas, the preamps, and the amplifiers to light him up.
Huh. Yeah.
And that person won't need to carry all that equipment. You guys will already have it and can hear them. And at that point, I saw the light go off when he's thinking, there's 4 red grid squares that I could work. Immediately, that was his passion.
Yeah.
Then we'll grab the big box here, the 905. I mean, would you be disappointed if you had a radio that did 5 bands and it came in an itty bitty box? So, all your mounting hardware. Okay, microphone, power cord, more U brackets, your shorter cable to connect the head and the body.
It looks like there might be a mountain bracket down in there.
Oh, there is. Oh, look at there. That little bitty.
That looks
remote
kind of
control head.
familiar.
It does look very familiar, doesn't it?
It does.
But it's not.
So, looks almost like what you're giving away.
Yes. Looks almost like 705.
But one big difference.
Yeah.
A warning label.
And a heat sink.
That warning label tells you that it will get hot.
Yeah.
Caution, hot surface, do not touch.
Be like that.
Yeah, it was funny. We had it put in the backpack at Orlando, and my friend Scott, who was helping us, he goes and grabs it like this. He goes, "Man, that's hot." I go, "Right there, dude." I'm like, "Right there. It even tells you, do not touch."
Well, but all the RF is upstairs, right?
Yes.
So this is power supply hot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Power over Ethernet.
Yeah.
So a nice clean description of what the connectors are on the side. Video in, video out, ascend line, electric key for CW, external speaker, microphone speaker, and then mic.
Let's get quite a few jacks on
Yeah,
it.
it's got a few more jacks than your 705, Tommy.
Yeah. That full-size SD card? Yeah, it is.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
A USB-C,
Mm-hmm.
and then your RF unit, and then a LAN cable. Plug this in.
Got wireless LAN as well?
No, does not.
Not wireless.
So you can plug in your LAN here and remotely control it. We will reach in and...
More goodies?
But wait, there's
Again,
more.
But wait, yes, there's more.
You guys got really serious with the brackets this time. This is some heavy-duty stuff right there, man.
And that's the business end of it right there.
Yeah, it looks like that thing probably needs that heavy bracket.
Got 2 meter, 70 centimeters, 2.4, 5.6. We have a GPS antenna.
You got 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and 1.2 gigs on the same jack.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I missed that. And on the other side, the accessory jack. I like that. I haven't seen that. That is actually to help keep it watertight. RF out for the 10 meg IF out. And then that's where you connect to the body of the radio.
So that whole unit there is being powered over Ethernet.
Yes, sir. So, Tommy, you're the resident expert. Oh, you're so quick.
Yeah. 10 gig. It's because it's not connected, right?
Well, the 10 gigs is a transverter.
Yeah, but it's not hooked. I imagine it has to be hooked up.
Yes, sir. Go to, there you go. Go to 2.4. And then we can go to the mini scope. Without an antenna, George?
Yeah. I've got a paper clip around here somewhere.
All right.
So,
That's what I like about I like all the newer Icom radios that basically have the same interface on it. So if you use one of them, you're pretty much at home with the other one, except for a few feature differences.
Yep. All your different modes, including amateur television.
ATV, yeah.
Oh, cool. DV. Oh, it's got D-Star in there.
Yes, sir. And it'll do the DD mode as well, the 128K data. When you go to the ATV, we'll go, I can't remember if it's, no, not function.
Ah,
Oh, that's awesome.
that's like old school.
That is very cool.
Yeah. So it's NTSC?
Yes, sir. So do we have any questions coming in?
Let's see. Will I Love Lucy show up soon? No, I don't think it will.
Okay.
Now, was this a 10 megahertz out?
So to answer that, 10 megahertz, you got 10 megahertz output here to go to the input here.
Okay.
And then 2.4 out of here to 2.4 into here, and either a 2.4 gig antenna or it uses a 2.4 as a transverter input to get 10 gig out.
Well, Tom was asking, is the 10 megahertz out tied to the GPS disciplined oscillator?
I believe the answer to that will be yes.
Okay. Will a standard serial port GPS antenna work?
Standard serial port. No.
Okay.
This one will have your SMA connector for your GPS antenna. So it's not a active or a device like that.
Email wants to know, can he use it for swamps on the air?
Yes, sir, you can.
And how is it powered? Well, 12 volts power in, and then power over Ethernet up to the tower to the actual RF module. Is that what we're calling that? What do we call this piece here?
This is the RF deck for the 905.
Okay.
Then you have your transverter.
All right.
So we have a manual in Spanish.
Okay. C.
Notice the bass, French.
We.
Okay.
And
I
then
was going to say yeah, but
then your basic manual in English.
okay.
Wow. This is the first time I've opened one of these. About the licenses of all the tech used in the radio.
That's a heap of tech there.
So the GPS antenna, 50 ohm, output voltage 3.3 volts. Reference out, 10 meg at a minus 10 dBm. It's a reference signal, impedance 50 ohm, output frequency 50 meg. Here we go, transmit output power, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 10 watts on single sideband CW, FM, RTTY, DV, 2.5 watts on AM. 1.2 gig is 10 watts with 2.5 watts on AM. 2.4 and 5.6, 2 watts, half a watt on AM. And then we'd have to look at the manual for the 10 gig, but I believe the 10 gig is 1 watt.
Okay.
All right. We had a question from Tom. Is the battery, is the body, not the head unit, extended or
Intended?
intended to be mounted outside on the antenna mast?
Yes.
Okay, so it'll reduce it.
That's one of the reasons why we got this, monster
Oh yeah.
mounting bracket to go up on. And there again, you got all your different hole patterns that however you want to mount it. And it is intended to be in an outdoor environment. Tommy, you made a comment about the heat. So this even has the notice about do not touch.
How would you protect it from lightning? Grounding?
Grounding would be one way. Look at lightning suppression between the antenna and the dish. It's not like it's the first microwave item to be put on a tower out there. So there's probably some real good lightning suppression and techniques that you can do from the commercial industry.
It's a bit heavier for the backpack, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you were going for those bands, you'd figure out a way to get it up there.
Oh, you could get it in a decent sized backpack, no problem.
Yeah.
And the little antennas you got right there, those very small, it'd be very doable.
And you think about the people that are out there working those bands. 2 meter, 440, 1.2.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that's got a 9700 will definitely be fair game for you to operate.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you start looking at the higher bands. If you do the planning and coordinating like they do for a POTA activation, you can spend a good afternoon with just 20 people.
Yeah.
You think about it. 20 people to operate on all 5 bands. That's 100 cues in one grid square.
Yeah.
Then you move to the second one. It's the same 20 guys, but you got 5 bands.
Yeah.
And when you take a look at HF, how many of these guys on HF will brag about 5-band DXCC? So it's a real thing. You can easily have 400 cues in a day.
Wow. Email brought up a point a minute ago. He was thinking about a different way because he's into the MCOM and stuff.
Right.
He says, definitely imagining the future of data and the links between us all with these one big mesh network for hams nationwide.
You think about the frequencies that you have access to. 128K data from 1.2 to 10 gig. You can easily set up a backbone for emergency communications off the top of a couple of buildings. I know people are probably tired of hearing about this analogy of Hurricane Katrina, but it was a real deal, and it was really the big transition from people talking about what we could do to what people really were doing. I mean, ham WAN came about, but then think about what you could do on 128K between a couple of buildings. You're sending spreadsheets of data very quickly instead of taking the time to phonetically say each line item on a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, no doubt. 128K, that's
ISDN speeds.
exactly.
And I remember when we first introduced D-Star with the ID1, people were like, well, what would I do with an ISDN speed in my vehicle? You can do a lot
of a lot of stuff.
Yep.
All right, that looks like a mighty fine piece of hardware. These are shipping now.
Yes, sir. They're shipping now. Dealers have got them in stock.
Yep.
So we've got all the antennas, even the 10 gig per ab. We brought a few of those in.
Okay.
So
ladies, this is available for Christmas presents.
Just in time for Christmas shopping.
Yep.
And men too. Yeah.
Well, you think about it. January VHF contest comes up.
Yeah.
Immediately get your Christmas present and go contest with it. So George, Tommy, thank you for inviting me to come over and show some of the toys. The 905 with the 10 gig RF module.
Well, Ray, thanks for coming and bringing some of the toys. You know, I've seen these, but all I really saw was this because that was up high on the booth. This, I don't know that this was at the show when I was there.
Yeah, it was next to it. We just didn't have it connected.
Okay. All right. But
yeah, I appreciate you bringing it. Like I said, I was kind of curious about these other parts, especially this. I knew it was there. I had no idea what it looked like with the size of it. It was pretty interesting.
it's a lot heavier than it looked when I saw it.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's a good thing.
To take a look at when you can use it, you've got January and June VHF contests. They're bonus bands for field day. You don't have to count it as a station, but you can count the queues. Okay. You can do ATV demonstrations for field day, so there's bonus points of showing the technology. Or you can do 128K data to a repeater and show how you can move data that way.
Cool.
So all kinds of fun things that you can do with the radio.
Be interesting to hear how people are using them in the future. I'm sure they're going to come up with some things we hadn't even thought of.
Oh, definitely. I met this couple, and they had a friend that they brought along. Between the three of them, they had 3 complete packages.
Wow.
From Idaho to Seaside, Oregon, they stopped at every park that they could to activate them. In fact, there were a couple of parks on either side of one of the lakes that they went to. Activated both parks talking to each other. They went with flat panel 5.6 and 2.4 gig antennas.
Yeah.
Mounted very nicely on their setup that they had on a tripod, and over 500 queues.
Wow.
Wow.
So they had a lot of fun with them.
Sounds like it. Well, there's really nothing out there that competes with this other than people buying a bunch of hardware and hacking it together.
Yes. The other part of it, and you said competes, there are other entities that want to compete for our spectrum.
Oh yes, there
So
are.
this is a commercially available off the shelf. That eliminates the argument that, oh well, it's just a bunch of hams experimenting.
Yeah.
Right.
No, there is now a commercial product that's available that takes it beyond that experimentation role
Yeah.
and makes it where the bands are actively being used to help protect them.
Yeah. Because if you don't use it,
Yeah, we'll
it's
lose
going to
it.
be gone.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. That's good. Hopefully, there'll be more activity.
There's
on
too
those
much
bands.
money. There's too much money out there for all these spectrum auctions.
Yeah.
And one of the other things is, in a box about this size, I saw a 24 gig transverter at the Tokyo Ham Fair that runs off the 5.6 gig IF here. Not sure how far out that was, but
Yeah.
Icom is looking at how can we develop product to help protect spectrum. So thank you again, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
thank you,
for
Ray.
bringing it.
And thank you for everybody that was watching.
Yeah. We had a good time tonight.